Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am taking you through a 25-minute Pilates lower body workout. You don't need any equipment today, getting started standing on one end of our mat, feet hip distance apart. Reach your arms up overhead and then dive forward, finding your forward fold, loosening up through the legs. Take a big inhale here, exhale, find your flat back, bringing your hands to your shins. Inhale to release. Exhale, find that flat back, drawing the belly button up towards the spine. Inhale, release, 3 more here. Exhale, flat back, bringing the hands to the shins. Last 2, inhale, drop the head in the chest. Exhale, flat back, last 1. Inhale, fall. Exhale, lift. And then just find your forward fold again, maybe alternating pedaling out the legs, bending one knee and sinking deeper into the opposite leg, just loosening up through the upper body here to warm up for this class. Press both heels down into the mat now, grab a hold of opposite elbow, just sway gently from side to side, releasing any tension through the low back. Come through center, drop the hands, shake the head yes and no, releasing any neck tension. And then grab a hold of the back of your legs, drawing your chest towards your thighs, taking a few deep breaths here. And then gently release your hands back down to the mat, slowly roll up to standing one vertebra at a time, ending all the way at the top with your head. And then inhale, reach the arms overhead, exhale, let them fall by your sides. Awesome job. Hope you're feeling a little bit stretched out now. So let's step our feet out as wide as the mat with the toes turned out 45 degrees, getting ready for a squat series. So inhale, bend the knees, raise the arms, exhale, straighten. Inhale to your squat. Exhale, press up. As you squat down, arms reach up overhead. As you stand, they press back behind the hips, engaging through the triceps. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straight. You've just got 4 more like this. Inhaling as you bend, exhaling to straighten. Last 2. Last 1. Let's hold in our squat now, bringing the hands down onto the hips. Straighten the legs halfway and then sink deep into your squat. Straighten halfway and sink into your squat. 6 more like this, just half range of motion here. Inhaling to lift up, exhaling to sink even deeper into that squat, maybe challenging yourself to squat a little bit farther down each time. Exhale, sink low. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. Last one like this. Release your hands down by your hips, straighten the legs, back to our full range squats here. Inhaling to bend the knees, exhale, straighten. 6 more like this. We're into our second round of this squat series. Inhale, bend, exhale, squeeze the glutes, press the arms behind the hips, and straight, bend, and straight. Just give me 3 more here, you can do it. Last 2. Last 1, hold low in your squat, hands come down to your hips. Again, straighten the legs halfway, and lower. Straighten halfway, and lower. In our second round of this, what can you improve since the first time we did this? Maybe you're sinking a little bit lower. Maybe you're engaged through the glutes a bit more, taking deeper breaths. As we exhale, squat. Inhale, lift halfway, pressing down through the feet here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lower the hips. You got this. Hold your hips low now. Let's alternate lifting the heel. So lift the right heel and down, lift the left and down, maybe giving me a little baby pulse with the hips each time you lift the heel, just to bring a bit more of a challenge into those glutes. But we're getting some nice calf work as we lift one heel and lower, lift, and lower. I like to exhale as I lift the heel, inhale as I lower, but you can really breathe however feels naturally to you here. Just give me 1 more each side. Last one. Hold the heels down, reach the arms up, pulse it down with the hips to finish. We're just here for 8, 7, maybe sink an inch lower here. You can do it. Just for 4, for 3, 2, And 1, press down through the feet, straighten the legs, arms lower down towards the hips, walk your feet in hip distance. Inhale, arms reach up, exhale, dive forward, feel that nice release up the backs of the legs here. When you're ready, bend into your knees, making your way down onto the mat. Let's come down on to the left side of our body, getting ready for a clamshell series to work that right outer glute. So rest your head in your hand with your elbow resting down on the mat. Knees come together, toes come together, and lift up off the ground. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, open the right knee up. Inhale, tap the knees together. Exhale, open. Close the knee. Open up in your clamshell. What you want to make sure of here is that your hips are staying stacked one on top of the other. So as you open that right knee up towards the ceiling, make sure your right hip isn't opening up as well. If that reduces your range of motion, that is totally okay. We just want to keep that tension on the right side glute here. Let's add an extension now. So open in your clamshell, extend the top leg, lower and close the knees. Open, extend, bend, and close. I like to inhale to open, exhale, extend, inhale, bend, and exhale, close. But you can do the reverse if that's more comfortable for you. We've only got 4 more here. As you extend that leg up towards the ceiling, make sure you're not rocking back onto your left hip. If it helps, sometimes I like to bring my right hand onto my right hip to make sure I'm keeping that nice alignment and the hips stacked on top of each other. Just give me 1 more here. Opening the knees, extending the leg, bending, and close. Now let's tap the knees together, rotate the leg and tap the toes. Rotate, tap the knees, and tap the toes. So just internally rotating and externally rotating through that hip, really starting to burn out through that right side glute, that glute medius. Just for 2 more here. And last one, bring the knees together now, toes lifted, and lift that right knee up and lower it down. Lift it up and lower. So you've got that nice internal rotation through the hip. You're just kicking that leg up and pulling it back down, feeling that squeeze through that right side. Exhaling to kick up, inhaling to lower. Just give me 2 more here. And hold the knee lifted, pulse it up for 10. 9 little lifts, reaching that big toe up towards the ceiling. Just here for 5, for 4, last 3, 2, and 1. Flex your feet now, bring the heels together in that clamshell, pulse the top knee back to finish. We're here for 8, 7, just for 6, breathing through it. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Close the knees, lower the toes down, extend your left leg long down the mat, and bring your right knee across in front of your hips, feeling that nice release on the outside of your right leg. And then when you're ready, prop yourself up onto your left forearm now. Keep that left leg extended, but step your right foot out in front of your left leg, getting ready to work our left inner thigh. So flexing through the left foot, inhale to prepare, exhale, lift that left foot up off the ground. Inhale, tap it down, exhale, lift. You want to make sure here that your inner thigh is facing up towards the ceiling, so your toes are pointing forward to really work those adductors on the leg, that inner thigh muscle. As we inhale, lower, exhale, lift, really pressing down through the forearm, pushing yourself away, nice and engaged through the core. Hold the leg lifted now, point through your foot, circle the leg forward for 10, 9, just little circles with that leg, drawing a circle about the size of a baseball for 2, and 1, switch directions, circling to the back for 10 more circles here, for 8, 7, last 6, 5, just 4 more, 3, 2, and flex the foot. Let's finish with pulses up for 10. 9, can you lift that leg a little bit higher here, squeezing through that inner thigh, just for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Lower the left leg down, awesome job. And release the right leg up and over, and let's make our way down onto our backs, getting ready for a bridge series. But first, let's just windshield wiper those knees from side to side, releasing any tension through the inner and outer thighs here from that tough clamshell and inner thigh series. Bring your knees in through center now, and let's get ready for a bridge series. So inhale to prepare, and as you exhale, squeeze through the glutes, lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Inhale to lower them back down. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Give me 8 more here, taking it nice and slow to start. Pressing down through the feet, pressing down through the arms to really activate up the glutes and the hamstrings here, using our breath to help us get even more strength through that lower half. As we inhale to lower, exhale, press through the feet, lift the hips. As you exhale, ribs draw together, belly button pulls down towards the spine for that nice engaged core, stabilizing the pelvis as we lift and lower the hips. Just give me 2 more here. And last one. Let's hold the hips lifted now. Lift the heels up off the mat and lower them back down. Lift the heels up and lower. 8 more here. Lift the heels and lower, getting some calf work. I like to exhale as I lift the heels up and inhale as I lower them back down. The rest of the body is staying completely frozen here. All of the work is coming from those calf muscles. As we inhale, tap the heels. Exhale, lift. Hold your heels lifted up now. Lower your hips halfway to the mat and squeeze them back up. Lower halfway and lift. 8 more like this, so just splitting that range of motion in half, not letting the hips come all the way down to the mat, just lowering halfway and squeezing back up. Just give me 6 more here. Inhaling to lower halfway, exhaling to lift up, lower halfway, and lift. Last 2. And last one. Hold your hips lifted now. Open your knees out to the sides and then squeeze them back in parallel. Open out to the sides. Squeeze together. At any point here, if you want to drop the heels, that is totally fine with me, whatever works for you. Inhaling as you open the knees, exhaling, squeeze through the inner thighs, draw the legs parallel. So working those outer thighs as the knees flare out and the inner thighs as they squeeze back together as you exhale. Just give me 2 more like this. You can do it. Breathing here. And last one. Open and close. Hold the knees close. Now pulse the hips up. Little squeezes with the glutes for 8, 7, 6. Just micro lifts and lowers. Just for 3, 2, and 1. Keep the hips lifted. Lower the heels. 10 more pulses up. Squeeze and squeeze just for 8. This is it. Just 6 more. Breathing here. Just for 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, lift the hips a little higher. Exhale, let them fall down onto the mat. Hug the knees in towards the chest, pressing your lower back down into the mat, feeling that release through the back side of the body. Release your feet down onto the mat now. Let's come back into those windshield wiper motions with the knees, releasing through all sides of the hips now. Getting ready to come into another bridge series that'll be focused more on the hamstrings rather than the glutes and the calves. So when you're ready, lift up with the hips and lift your toes off the ground, keeping your heels down, getting ready to walk the heels out. So step the right foot out, bring the left to meet it, right foot comes in, left foot comes in, left foot out, right foot out, left foot in, right steps out, and left, right in, and left in. So just stepping one heel out at a time, a couple of inches in front of the knee, alternating which heel you start with, keeping the hips nice and lifted the entire time, and trying not to dip down to one side as you step one heel out or in, really working into the hamstrings here, keeping the hips lifted by squeezing the glutes and the hamstrings as well, and then putting even more tension, even more strength into the hamstrings as we step the heels out and step them back in. So step out, out, in, breathing however feels naturally to you here. We've only got 5 more rounds of this. Do a body scan here, make sure your back isn't arching, your glutes are nice and engaged, keeping the hips lifted, keeping the spine neutral. Make sure your toes are nice and lifted off the ground, your feet are flexed, so your toes are pointing diagonally up towards the ceiling. Make sure you're breathing, so as you inhale, ribs expand, as you exhale, they draw together. Hold your heels stepped out now. Let's finish with pulses up with the glutes for 8, 7, 6, little squeezes up and down just for 3 more, 2, and 1. Lift a little bit higher and slowly roll your spine down onto the mat. Awesome job. Gently press yourself up to a seated position, legs go long, feet flexed, hip distance apart. Reach the arms up and reach forward into our forward fold, feeling that lovely release all the way up the backs of the legs after that tough hamstring workout. When you're ready, start to walk your hands back up your legs. And let's start to make our way down onto the right side of our body now, getting ready to repeat that clamshell series on this side. So rest your head in your hand with your elbow resting down on the mat, knees together with the toes lifted. Inhale to prepare, and as you exhale, open your left knee up towards the ceiling. Inhale, close. Exhale, open. 6 more like this. Big toes are touching the entire time. You're just rotating the knee open in your clamshell and then rotating it closed. Just give me 3 more like this before we add that extension. Exhaling as you open the knee, inhaling to close. Last one. And close. Open in your clamshell now. Extend the left leg. Bend and close the knees. Open, extend, bend, and close. 6 more like this, and just like on the other side, you want to make sure your hips are staying stacked on top of each other the entire time, especially as you extend that leg, because it can definitely be tempting to roll back onto the right hip there. Just give me 3 more like this. Inhaling to open, exhale, extend, inhale, bend, and exhale, close, or the reverse breathing pattern, whatever works for you. We've just got 1 more here, so open, extend, bend, and close. Now let's tap the knees together, rotate, tap the toes, tap the knees, and tap the toes. 6 more, so internally and externally rotating through that hip, breathing however feels naturally here, just as we rotate and rotate. Last 2, and last 1. Hold the knee rotated in now, lift the left leg up and lower down, lift the leg up and lower. 6 more, exhaling as you lift, inhaling as you lower, just for 5 more here, keeping that nice rotation inwards with the knee, really squeezing through that left outer glute here. Just 2 more. And last one, let's hold the leg lifted now, pulse the leg up for 10. 9, make sure that knee is pointing down here, really feeling that rotation, just for 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Flex the feet, bring the heels together, pulse back in your clamshell for 10. 9, this is where we finish. We're just here for 6 more, breathing here for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower the feet, lower the knees. Extend your right leg now, draw your left knee in front of the body, feeling that release through the left side hip. And then when you're ready, prop yourself up onto your right forearm now, with your right leg extended long down the mat and your left foot stepped in front. Flex your right toes, pointing your right inner thigh up towards the ceiling. And let's exhale as we lift the leg. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift 8 more here, pressing down through the forearm. Make sure you're not sinking down into that right shoulder. You want to stay nice and engaged through the upper body so that all the work can go into that right inner thigh. As we inhale, lower. Exhale, lift, really flexing through the foot here, pointing the toes forward, inner thighs facing up. Last one, hold the leg lifted, point through the foot, circles to the back now for 8 more here. 7, 6, just drawing little circles with that leg for 3, 2, and 1. Switch directions, drawing circles to the front now for 8, 7, 6, you got this, just for 4, 3, 2, flex the foot. Let's finish with pulses up now for 10, 9, can you lift your leg a little bit higher here? You can do it, just for 5, last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the leg down, awesome job. Uncross your left leg. Let's make our way onto our backs now, placing our feet hip distance apart, and just windshield wiper those knees one last time, releasing any tension through the hips. We've only got one bridge series left of class, and then we are stretching to finish it out. So when you're ready, bring your knees back in through center, getting ready for a little combo here to start out our final bridge series. So when you're ready, inhale to prepare, exhale, lift your hips up into your bridge, lift your right knee up to tabletop, place it down, lift the left knee to tabletop, place it down, lower the hips. Let's do that all again. Lift the hips up, right knee lifts and lowers, left knee lifts and lowers, hips lower down and lift right back up. So really pressing down through the entire surface area of the foot that isn't lifting up off of the mat to keep your hips nice and lifted and level, so not letting one drop down to the side as you lift opposite knee up. Just breathing however feels naturally to you here, making sure you're keeping a nice neutral spine and not having any arch through the back, especially as you lift one knee up. Just give me one more round of this, so lift the hips, right knee goes up and down, left knee up and down, and lower the hips down. Lift the hips up now, lift the right knee to tabletop, hold it there. Lower your hips down, lift them back up, tap your right toes to the ground, and lift the knee up. Again, hips lower down, and lift. Right toes reach forward, tap the mat, and lift up. Just 4 more rounds of this. You can do it. Breathing here. Tap the toes down, and lift. 3 more. Inhale, lower the hips. Exhale, press through the left foot, squeeze up. Inhale, tap the toes. Exhale, lift. 2 more. Hips lower and lift, toes tap and lift. Last one, you can do it. Lift the hips up, tap the toes, hold the knee lifted, pulse up with the hips for 10, 9, squeeze through that left glute, you can do it, just for 6, for 5, last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold the hips lifted, place the right foot down, lower the hips for a quick second, lift them right back up, left knee lifts, other side, hips lower down, and lift up, left toes tap to the ground, and lift. This is our final push of class, you can do it, hips lower, and lift, left toes tap, and lift. 4 more rounds here, inhale, lower, exhale, lift, inhale, tap the toes, exhale, lift. 3 more, you can do it, lift the hips, tap the toes, and lift. Last 2 here. And last one, hips lower, lift, toes tap, hold the knee lifted, pulse up with the hips for 10, 9, squeezing up with that right glute just for 6, 5, you can do it, just for 3, 2, keep the hips lifted, place the left foot down, option to reach the arms straight up from the shoulders, pulse the hips up, little squeezes with the glutes just for 8. This is where we finish class. You can do it, just 5 more, last 4, 3, 2, squeeze the hips up, place the hands on the ground, and slowly roll your spine back down onto the mat. Hug your knees in towards the chest, maybe rocking side to side, giving yourself a little massage through your lower back. Maybe circle out your knees a couple of times in each direction, releasing any tension through the midsection of the body. And then when you're ready, gently release your legs, roll over onto one side, press yourself up to a seated position. Extend your legs out long in front of you. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fall forward into our forward fold, releasing through the backs of the legs. Walk your hands in towards your hips now. Cross your left ankle over your right knee, sitting your hips down in your figure 4 position. Maybe rolling out your ankle a couple of times in each direction. Gently switch to the other side, crossing right ankle over left knee and sitting the hips down. Gently release that stretch, bring the bottoms of your feet together now. Grab a hold of your ankles and reach your chest forward towards your feet, feeling that release through the inner thighs and your hips here. When you're ready, go ahead and gently release that stretch. And that is it for today's 25-minute Pilates lower body workout. I hope you liked it. If you did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone!